A painting from 1585. A woman in her mid-30s, with hair that gleams like a moonless night, eyes that promise both pleasure and threat at the same time, and lips that always seem slightly wet, as if she has just emerged from a heavy kiss. A necklace of black pearls circles her neck, like the frozen tears of men who no longer breathe. This is Marguerite de Valois, Queen of Navarre, sister to 3 kings, wife to a man who would one day become King of France, and a woman for whom love was not a refuge, but the final battlefield. She betrayed with her lovers, stole the knights, desired bodies, and when she was sated, she erased their traces, not always with her own hands, but always by her own will. But who was Margot, really? Not merely a scandalous queen, but a woman who found a way to breathe amid the chains of political marriage and the fire of unrestrained desire. A woman who trapped men with velvet gowns and heavy perfumes, who committed betrayal in rooms lit by trembling candlelight, and who, in the mornings, before the sun fully arrived, disposed of the witnesses of the night. This is the story of a woman who held love like a double-edged sword, beautiful, lethal, and entirely her own, in an era that demanded women be either angels or victims. The story begins in 1572, just after the night Paris drowned in blood, the wedding night of Margot and Henry of Navarre, leader of the Protestants, a marriage arranged by her mother, Catherine de' Medici, to end the religious wars. Yet the only thing it truly ended was innocence. Thousands were slaughtered in the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, and Margot, amid the carnage, encountered her first true lover, Joseph Boniface de la Mole, a young and daring nobleman who saved her from death that night, and then took her into his arms. But this was not love. It was need. It was escape. Margot kept him in the hidden chambers of the Louvre, spent her nights with him, and when a plot against her brother Charles IX was uncovered, with La Mole at its center, Margot did not remain silent. She told her mother, La Mole, along with his friend Coconnas, was executed in the square. His head was severed, and Margot, by her own account, wore black for a long time and even kept her lover's skull, as if to remind herself that even love must be paid for in full. But this was not the end. It was the beginning. Margot no longer waited for the world to choose her. She chose, and then she eliminated. Louis de Bussy d'Amboise, the beautiful and arrogant swordsman of the court, who was also the lover of Margot's younger brother, François, Duke of Alençon. She spent nights with Bussy, while Henry of Navarre laughed with his own mistress in the next room, the unspoken agreement of their marriage. But when Bussy grew too bold, when he spoke of coups, when he imagined he could control the queen, Margot warned her brother Henry III. And Bussy was killed in a staged duel, one whose outcome everyone knew would be death. Jacques de Harlay, a young and passionate knight, accompanied Margot during her exile in Usson. She kept him in the castle, slept with him, conspired with him. But when rumors spread that Margot was pregnant by him, threatening a fragile political alliance, Harlay disappeared. By unknown assassins on a dark road, with a dagger in his heart. Margot did not cry. She only said, "Some loves must die before they grow." And the last ones, more anonymous, more silent. Young noblemen, loyal servants, men who occupied only a single night or a few weeks of her life. Each time one grew too close, each time he believed he could stay, Margot found a way. Slow poison in wine, a dagger in the dark, or simply a word whispered into the ear of someone with power. She never shed blood with her own hands, but she always gave the order. The Spanish ambassador wrote, "The Queen of Navarre plucks men like flowers from a garden, the finest for a moment, then she empties the vase." The court called her the Spider. Henry of Navarre, later Henry IV, cast her aside but never killed her, because he still needed her. Henry III, her brother, sometimes punished her, sometimes protected her. Catherine, her mother, saw her as a tool, until the tool began to decide for itself. During her long exile in Usson, in a castle that resembled a prison yet was filled with books and music, Margot continued to receive men, but now with greater caution, greater distance, and more final endings. She never confessed. She never repented. She wrote only this in her memoirs: "I killed what imprisoned me. Love, when it becomes a prison, is an enemy." In 1615, no longer a queen, just an old, lonely woman in a Paris house, Margot died in her bed, not by poison, not by dagger, only by immense exhaustion. Her final glance was at a mirror, where she saw a woman who once set the world ablaze and now was left with nothing but ash. Her enemies said she destroyed France with her lusts. But today, we see it differently. She simply survived. In a world that demanded women be either obedient or dead, Margot was not obedient, and for that, many died. So the next time you look at a portrait of a woman with dark eyes and a mysterious smile, do not judge. Look closer. Because beneath the silk and pearls, there is a woman who chose love, and when love became dangerous, she killed it. And yet, she was still beautiful.